So what I'm going to talk about in this video is the worst auto insurance company ever. You want to stay away from this company. They're called NationWide. NationWide got its name because they're the nation's worst insurance company. They're definitely not on your side. They don't pay their claims. So in July of 2019, I was driving my 2001 Honda Prelude, and this girl in a year-and-a-half-old Kia makes a left-hand turn right in front of me, totaling the car. And it was her dad's car, and he had Nationwide insurance. And my insurance said they wouldn't have nothing to do with it because it's their fault, that you have to go through their insurance. So 5 weeks had gone by, and they never got me a rental car, never did nothing. Then the insurance adjuster comes out to my house, and he looks the car over. He says, I've been the insurance adjuster for Nationwide for 33 years. The guy's actually proud that he's ripped people off for 33 years. Then he points over there and says, is that your shop? So he knew that I'm in the field. So, and he's looking at this, he looked the car over for an hour and a half, and he's looking at this crack in the windshield for like 15 minutes, and he says, was this crack here before the accident or after? This has got to be some kind of a joke asking me that question. The car's hit pretty hard. Both airbags went off, the center consoles broke loose, floorboards even buckled up, and he's going to ask me a question like that? This car, when I bought it, I worked on it on and off for about 6 months before I ever started driving it. I replaced the engine and a whole bunch of other parts. I could have drove this for years without doing anything to it with the work that was done to it. So about a couple of weeks goes by, then the insurance company contacts me and says, we're going to pay you $1,500 for that car. You can't buy one of these cars for $1,500. And the guy also tried to say the work you did on the car doesn't increase the value. I guess this guy doesn't know who he's dealing with. I've been in the field for 28 years. I know what cars are worth, and I know what increases the value. And it also says on their printout how they come up with the price is Blue Book value, and they look at local listings. The cheapest local listing, I think, is like $4,000 to $5,000 on those cars. You can't buy one for that price. And everybody else I've talked to, they said when you're in an accident, that's what car insurance is for, that they take care of everything. This company hasn't taken care of anything. It's been over a year now. They haven't paid me one dime. And all the other people I've talked to that have been in accidents and had other companies, they said all they did, with very little effort, they got the amount of money they wanted. They just showed the insurance companies different listings for their kind of cars and what the prices are, and they showed them receipts for work they had done. The insurance companies came right up to their price and they got what they wanted. So what happens when you don't agree on a price? They call it the bad faith law. You have to actually take the person to court that caused the accident. So in December of 2019, and the accident happened in July of 2019, so quite a few months have gone by now. So in December of 2019, I filed on the girl to take her to court. Now, I was supposed to go to court in April, but because of this whole virus thing, the court closed and I didn't get to go until August. So when we go to court, I'm expecting these people to apologize to me and say we're going to try and get this resolved, but instead they did the exact opposite. The guy and his daughter walk in the lobby of the courthouse, and I'm sitting only about 10 feet away, and the girl says, there's the MF sitting right over there that's suing me for $8 grand. And then when we walk in the courtroom, the judge says, can you step outside and see if you can get this resolved? And the guy first thing says to me, that car was modified and it's only worth $1,500. And that's when I told him off, and I walked right back in the courtroom, and they said, you couldn't get that resolved. And then when they call us up to the bench, the girl says, I'm so fat I can't stand up. So they give her a chair to sit down in, and then she says, well, he should be suing my dad. It's his car and his insurance. The judge says, hell no, you were driving the car. So then she tries to say, well, I never got served. So I hand the judge the paperwork saying that she got served. And the judge also says, you wouldn't be here if you didn't get served. So then she tries to say she didn't get the complaint. So then the judge makes a copy of the complaint, hands it to her, and we have to go back to court a week later. So when we went back to court, the first thing I did all the talking in the beginning, and the judge makes it very clear that you only talk when you're told to talk, and you don't all talk at the same time. So I explain everything to the judge, the work that went into the car. I show her all the listings that these cars go from. I think the cheapest one was $3,800 and it had 305,000 miles on it. And normally these cars with high mileage go for about 4,000 to 5,000. So now it's the girl's turn to talk. First thing she says is, he caused the accident. He was speeding. It's on the police report who caused the accident. You can't change that now. And she shows some pictures on her phone of what her dad's wrecked car. So now it's her dad's turn to talk. And he says, I'm just too nervous to come up to the stand. I guess he thought my foot was going to go up his ass or something. So first thing, and the only thing he's really focused on was the work that was done into this car, because that insurance adjuster saying that, yeah, the work you did didn't increase the value. But I already proved that these cars are going for 4,000 to 5,000 without the work, not 1,500 what they're trying to offer me. So first thing, and the guy gets worse and worse by every time he says something and it fails, he's getting nastier and worse. And first thing he tries to say is the receipts for the parts don't have his name on it. And the judge says, yes, they most certainly do have his name on it. Normally those receipts would not have my name on it, but I have accounts set up at these auto parts stores so I get a discount. So then he tries to say, he's been harassing me. And which is the most ridiculous thing I've heard. Only time I've ever talked to that guy before was for 2 minutes in the court a week earlier. So then this guy's getting really nasty at this point. I'm going to have to demonstrate what he does. I'm not an actor here, but I've been to small claims court as a plaintiff many times, and I've never seen anything like this before. Yeah, and this guy has no paperwork and nothing to go by. It was like he was just drawing straws out of his ass. This guy should have been locked up in a place for the mentally challenged. He committed fraud. He rolled the odometer back. And the judge says, no, he didn't. He put the correct 255,000 miles on the claim, and the title history also is completely correct. So then he sits down. It's not his turn to talk anymore. He jumps out of his seat again and says, he did regular maintenance to the car. It doesn't increase the value. Replacing an engine body is not regular maintenance. So then he sits down again. Now he jumps out of his seat again and he says, I've been a school bus driver for 40 years. Replacing an engine doesn't increase the structural integrity of the vehicle. So by this point, the judge and his daughter are yelling at him. They're so mad. So he sits back down again. A few seconds later, he jumps out of his seat again. There's a lien on the car. There is no lien on the car. So now he sits down again. He jumps out of his seat again, this idiot. And he says, we don't know how many miles are on that engine. Are you kidding me? So if you're in an auto accident, you make sure you get the maximum amount for your car. And if you're going up against Nationwide, you want to get an attorney immediately and don't talk to them at all. A sneaky thing that these companies will try to do also is they'll call you up and try to get you to say you're okay on the phone. They got you on a recorded line when they're doing that. I had them call me up once, and this was 4 to 5 months into the case. I had an attorney since the very beginning. And the woman said, is this Kenneth Rinchler? And then I said, who's calling? Because I never ever verify my name. And she says, this is Nationwide. Have you had surgery yet? And I said, you need to talk to the attorney. And she says, oh, you have an attorney? They know that. Another sneaky thing these companies will do is they'll call up all the time and say it's a personal business matter. If you hear a personal business matter or somebody wanting you to verify your name, you just hang up. Yeah, because you don't want to be on a recorded line. They'll use that information against you. Yeah, if I had kids and that guy was the bus driver, I would sue the school district for sure on that. Yeah, so I just got the judgment and I'm not happy with it at all. They put down the judgment for $2,560.43. I proved to that judge that these cars are going with high mileage, $4,000 to $5,000 with hardly no work being done to them. The cheapest one on there on Craigslist was $3,800 with 305,000 miles on it. You can't buy one of these cars for $2,500. And with the work that was done on it, I was hoping the judgment would be for like $6,500. And what someone told me is they think the judge was paid off by the insurance company to do that and give lowball offers on these judgments, because there's no reason for the judge to go so low on this because it's an insurance deal anyways. It's not the actual person paying for it. Yeah, see, it's in the insurance company's best interest to take care of everything as fast as possible. For every day that they wait, the price is going up. In my case, I use that car for a business, and now that I don't have it, I'm losing money now for every single day for the last 13 months. So when I put my tools in my truck, I can only put half as much stuff in there, and it costs me more on gas and everything else, and I can't replace the car now with only $2,500. So what's happening is the personal injury part of the claim is going higher and higher. What's going to end up happening is it's going to go above the insurance policy limits, and then I'm going to have to garnish the guy's wages also on top of this. So now I hope the insurance company is going to pay that $2,500. Yeah, so after waiting 13 months, I only got $1,000 more than the original offer from the insurance company. I'm going to try to get a criminal investigation done on that judge, so I think she's a fraud. Yeah, and by everything these people did wrong in court, this case should have went 100% my way, and it didn't. And I really hope it goes against that girl's credit also. And the dead giveaway that this judge was paid off is the insurance adjuster never showed up. And by what I've heard, the insurance adjuster always shows up in these cases. But they already knew what the outcome would be since they paid her off. And that's why they didn't show up to court. Yeah, right now it's the end of February of 2021. They finally paid me for the car. It's been 19 months since the accident, and I've had the judgment on them for 6 months now. I would have thought they would have paid that much sooner. So the rest of the video, we're going to talk about the personal injury side of this case. So now we're going to talk about the medical part of this case. So the accident happened in July of 2019. Right now it's the end of December of 2021. So it's been almost 2.5 years since the accident. For about 2 years I had to go to a bunch of doctor's appointments and physical therapy and all that stuff. And if you don't do that, the insurance company will rip you off. Like they tried to offer me only $1,500. Instead it cost them $77,560.43. So I guess it was about 9 months ago. First they did the mediation, and it was done on a computer because of this virus on Zoom. And the guy says, "I'm here to make a deal." Well, buddy, you're not going to make a deal at the low ball offer you're offering me. And the guy would keep going off camera like he's talking to the insurance company, but he's not actually talking to an insurance company. He knows what he can do and what he can't do. So then a couple months later, they do the deposition. And as soon as I saw this woman on there, I could tell she was just an evil, nasty-ass person. She reminded me of my stepmother. And they ask you all kinds of stupid questions like where you went to high school at. That has nothing to do with the case. And then she kept trying to say that this accident happened at an intersection, and my attorney stopped her and said that is not an intersection. And the best answer is just to say, "I don't remember." Because they try to use everything against you. And as soon as they realize they can't beat me in court, they decide to settle the case. And on a $100,000 policy, the maximum you can get is about $75,000 without going to court. To get more than that, you have to go to court, and it would take like a couple years longer. And then the legal fees go way up, so you actually get less money. So then another problem I had been telling the attorney and the paralegal for 2 years that the hospital already agreed to accept like $2,500. And every time you talk to them, they say, "Oh no, it's $17,400 and something dollars." And the attorney, they're just trying to make money for themselves. They don't care what happens to you, because their money comes right on the top of the case. So this company, North Bay Healthcare, got this company called Health Advocates in Southern California to put a lien on the money for $17,000 something dollars, which was almost $15,000 more than I owed. And I have the original bill for $2,614.04. And which was extremely expensive for the 3 x-rays I had. That's all they did. My attorney says, well, they're entitled to a certain percentage of the case. That's not true. If I had like surgery or something, I think my attorney thought that they did a bunch of work to me, which they didn't do anything. And so then if the case is $1 million case, what are they entitled to $100,000 in x-ray? It doesn't work that way. So I've been fighting with the hospital for a long time on this, because there's also a bill for $1,048. So that made the original amount $3,662 something, which is very high for 3 x-rays. In a doctor's office, it only charge you maybe $400 on that. So they file this fraudulent lien, and then they don't try to resolve anything. So the hospital, I went there a whole bunch of times trying to pay the original amount, and they told me that if you can't come to an agreement with this company in Southern California, they have to accept the original amount. So on the 8th time I went into the hospital and tried to pay the bill, months have gone by. That's when the woman refused to accept it again, and I exploded, and I just cussed her ass out. And then they said that I'm not allowed anywhere near the hospital ever again. So then I saw that every time this company in Southern California won't talk to me directly, they won't even answer the phone, but they'll only deal with my attorney. So I saw the woman's email address on there, because the attorney forwards everything to me. So I emailed her and I said, I'm coming to Southern California to speak to you in person, and I want to see you disrespect me face to face. Then they had an attorney email my attorney saying, we take these threats very seriously, and we're calling the police in this day and age and all this stuff. But they threatened me and disrespected me and said that I lied to the hospital and said the case settled for $5,000 when I never said that. And it's okay for them to threaten me, but when I do it to them, it's a big deal. So the attorney in Southern California emailed my attorney, and they said, we're just trying to collect a debt in a professional manner, and we don't know why your client acts the way he does. That must be some kind of a joke. You know, they file this lien, but they don't try to ever resolve anything. And I'm the one who had to go through everything for all this time, and they're trying to make it to where I make the least amount of money possible. And they also tried to say that the hospital won't accept the original amount, but the hospital told me several times they would accept the original amount, so they were lying about that the whole time. Yeah, the reason I emailed them, I was mad about this, because all these months have gone by and they haven't tried to resolve nothing. So now all of a sudden the attorney in Southern California is trying to resolve this. So then how we ended up getting this resolved, they agreed to accept $5,000 on that instead of the $17,400 and some dollars. And the only reason I agreed to pay them $5,000 is because I have other hospital bills that for more recent stuff that was done, and all of them combined come to that, and I'm not paying that hospital 1 cent more. That's all they're ever going to get from me. They're dishonest. Yeah, and because of my email to that company in Southern California, and the attorney emailed them and told them, you can spend $10,000 in legal fees to take me to court, but he's not going to pay you 1 cent anyways. That's probably why they decided to eventually settle this. And because this case went much farther than it was supposed to go, the attorney got 40%. They got $35,000 right off the top of it. And I had to pay out a total of about $6,000 for all the doctor's appointments and physical therapy. And after it was all said and done, I ended up getting about $30,000, which I was hoping for a lot more than that. And one thing I would have done differently if I would have known this from the very beginning is that hospital bill, the original hospital bill, I didn't feel this was my responsibility to pay it since it was part of the accident, but what I should have done is made them small payments on that original amount, then they would not have ever put a lien against this money. So if you're looking to buy car insurance, don't use NationWide. NationWide doesn't pay their claims. You know, they will do anything they can to get out of paying what they owe. You know, on this whole thing, I was the victim. They should have took care of me first, but they didn't do that.